What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Togethermess bonus Big Brother episode.
I know a lot of you are super excited about this. Happy Friday, by the way. I got my marg ready. I should have told you guys in the chat to have your margs.
Cheers.
I have my friend over here. She's sitting. We got Big Brother playing for her so she can get caught up.
It's Big Brother Mania up in here.
Yeah.
She's watching last night's episode. But before we get into all the fun that Big Brother has to offer, please leave your questions right now. So as we're talking, our producers, by the way, thank you guys for putting this up. This is way more production value than I thought this was going to be. It was just me and Jordan kind of talking about Big Brother. She hasn't watched it in years. I didn't watch in a couple of years. I tuned in last year, and then this year we're finally watching. Ironically enough, our kids are 6 and 8 now, and
they like watching it with us.
They're watching with us, and they have like all these questions, and we're like, you know what? So many people have stuck with us over the past 16 years, if you could believe that. So, and our ties are to Big Brother, but we don't want to bog down the podcast with all the Big Brother talk. So we thought, why not just do a Friday episode and kind of rehash some of the things. Those were the best times of. I had so much fun doing those after shows for Big Brother.
Oh yeah, you took them very serious. One of the memories of you doing the after shows were at the end of the season. Jeff used to make me go to a dollar store at the 99-cent store.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It was in California. And we would go and we would spend hours in there, and everything was positive. We would find something that symbolized that person for that season.
I don't know if they were all positive, but
a lot of it was positive.
It was all in good fun. It was all in good fun.
And you always had a gift for them, and it was nice. It was just kind of like something a little extra. And then I felt like the seasons on, people were expecting it.
Yeah,
to get that.
Yeah.
And then so it's kind of sad. Like you definitely put a lot of work in,
but we'll never forget where we came from. That's kind of why we're doing this. I understand everybody that was on Big Brother has a podcast or some sort of input to their opinion on the show, and we're just going to give you our honest opinion and break down the cast and what we think so far, and just our opinion, you know.
And this is super casual.
Yeah,
we got kids running around upstairs right now, so if you hear kids screaming,
and even when I did the after show, I was never ever trying to bring somebody down, you know, like, and that was a while back. Now it's like, ask those hard-hitting questions. Not that we're having any guests on as of right now, but I never wanted to do that because you guys don't know what it's like to be in that house, especially not just getting knocked out the first week, but being in there months at a time and what that does to your mind and your psyche. I went through it twice. So I was always trying to be kind to the house guests when they come out, because it's emotional, mental, psychological experience that unless you go through it, you can't really understand. So whenever I did those interviews, I was always trying to sympathize with what they went through, you know? So that's what I try to do. And we're going to do the same thing here, because I feel for everybody in that house, even though it's early.
And who wants to come out of the house and have somebody ask you negative questions?
Yeah, because I mean,
I had that. I mean, but times are different. But even when I got off, like, people, I knew they were being like sarcastic with me. And I was like, oh, you didn't like me on the show, like people interviewing me.
But it's also different getting interviewed by someone who went through that experience.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's so funny because Big Brother, this episode from last night is on because our friend Lisa is here watching. And it's just amazing to me how many people don't wear shirts in that house, including me. What was I thinking? But if you know what, if I look like that right now, I probably wouldn't be wearing a shirt
it's
during
hot in the backyard. Okay, so
let's break it down.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you want to do? Who do you want to start with?
Well, we got our cast list. I broke down all of our cast lists for Jordan,
know anybody's
and
names.
Then all their bios and things like that. So I had to clip all this stuff from work, and
thanks, Jeff.
But it brought me back, though. It brought me back, like printing out all the stuff, because that's what I used to do, and I used to cut them all, my questions, and then put them on the back of the CBS card.
Well, we wanted to be like super organized here. But okay, so a lot of people keep asking me, they're like, who are you rooting for already? I feel like you don't know yet. It's only the first week, but so much happens in that house. So 1 week in the Big Brother house feels like you've already been in the house 20 days, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Because you go through a little sequester period, which you're away by yourself for like 7 days. I don't know how it is now. They might I don't know what they do now. But when we were on, you're in sequester for like 7 days before you actually go into the Big Brother house, which is actually kind of genius because you are so eager to talk to anybody. I remember people bringing you your food and I'm like, hey, how are you? And they're like, hi. And they just give you your food and you're so eager to talk to anybody. So it's really a genius move on Big Brother's part when they do that, because when you get in there, you're really ready to socialize and you're ready to go.
Okay, so first person that stood out from one of the episodes.
So we're going to start. I understand there's already a lot of gameplay that happened. We had our first eviction, but we're going to start from our very first opinions. Right when we saw them, what popped out to us and who we thought was going to win or who we liked most. And then we'll go from there and catch everybody up.
Okay. Ashley, I think she's sweet, but
this is first opinions.
First opinions. I was like, why are you lying about what you do for a living? I hate when people lie.
She lied?
Yeah, she didn't tell everybody she's a lawyer.
Oh, I see. When you get in the house, why don't you tell them?
Yeah.
I never understood that either.
Yeah.
I never understood that because you are there so long, and we won't break every single person down like this, but you are in that house so long that it's hard for me to lie in life in general because I just like being who I am and people like me and people don't like me, but I'd rather be me than pretend to be someone else. So when you're in there saying I'm a doctor or I'm a chemist or what is she?
She is a lawyer.
Lawyer. That doesn't mean you can't throw a ball into a clown's mouth faster than me. That has nothing to do with that.
Right.
So, but if you're lying and you're trying to have a heart-to-heart to really get to know somebody, and you're playing a character or you're lying about what you do, you're never going to get that bond.
Right.
You know? So I never understood that, not just with Ashley, with everybody, but to each their own. That's just our game, and my game sucked. And you should get more credit for what you did. You won and you took 4th and you played twice. I don't want to go there, but you should.
And then another thing that stuck out with Ashley was when the first week, the HOH is trying to find anybody to put on the block because they don't want to get blood on their hands. Don't take a 2-hour shower. If she really did take it.
We said first opinions. First opinions.
Oh, I wanted to go there.
All right, we'll go there after. Let's just quickly go. Okay. I'll tell you. All right, my first opinions that jumped out. Instead of going through every single person, I don't want to take too long, and I want to catch everybody up because everyone's up to speed anyway. But I'll tell you, watching with our family when we first sat down, I'll start with Keanu. Because Keanu looks like Maui. Oh, wow. Look at that. Talk about production value.
Yeah.
Nice job up there, Ian. And so Keanu popped out to me because we love Moana in our family. I watched that movie 1,000 times. And Lawson, our oldest one, is like, oh, my God, is that Maui? He thought he looked like Maui, the Rock's character in Moana. So he was our favorite from jump. That was our first guy that jumped out to us. The cowboy, Reilly, is that his name? Reilly jumped out to us right away. I think Will jumped out to us right away because he was from North Carolina.
Catherine, first impression of her was feisty.
Catherine? Which one's Catherine?
Blonde, pretty blonde.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of feisty, will stick up for herself, doesn't back down. That's kind of what I pictured.
And for some reason, Adrian popped out to me. He was very quirky, and I love this production value. He popped out to me. He was very quirky, and I just thought it'd be interesting to be in the house with him because it seems like he's got a lot to say, and he'd keep it entertaining. Because what you have to do, half of the battle in that house is keeping yourself entertained during the down times, and I feel like he's someone that I could just talk to and kind of laugh with.
I thought Morgan was super cute.
Morgan was my favorite out of the girls that I saw. And that was, we'll get into that later. But my initial thoughts after I saw the cast, and Kelly as well. Kelly was another one that kind of popped out to me. That was our initial that was my flash first instinct of, oh man, I kind of like these guys. That's it.
I liked Lauren because she's from Louisiana.
Lauren, I thought immediately this girl's going to break hearts. You know what I mean? And someone's going to get their game in trouble.
So was I not right when I said they showed her and then they showed Zach, and I go, Zach's going to love her. And
you did.
And then he came on.
And I said, you know what? I think Zane is going to get her. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Or Zay, sorry.
Zay.
I go, Zay's going to get her.
Yes.
So that was our first initial reaction, watching with the family, our first thoughts. You shouldn't jump to conclusions, but Who doesn't these days?
Yeah.
But then we'll break down everybody else as it moves on, you know?
That was just first impressions. And then do you want to talk about last night?
Yeah, we could talk
episode?
about how do you feel about Rachel coming in the house? By the way, I was completely shocked. You kind of looked at some updates knowing who might or might not come in, and you're like,
I follow Alyssa, Rachel's sister.
okay.
So that's kind of where I was like, oh, Rachel might be on. But then I also thought, I was like, wait, maybe it's a guy, maybe it's someone else. And then I was like, no, I think it might be Rachel. And then when she came in, I was just like, I mean, it's Rachel. She's a character.
Oh boy.
She's probably living her dream right now. She's so excited. She loves Big Brother. This is like her, this is her thing. So I think this time around, I feel like you're going to see a much calmer Rachel. Not so much like a more mature side of Rachel.
I think kids change you, you know, but the Big Brother house always changes you. So I'm curious to see how, sorry, I'm drinking some beers. I'm curious to see how Rachel holds up because she was always in the house with Brennan, right? And after Brennan left, you were with her after I got evicted. So you were the one to kind of be there for her in season 13. So without anyone being there, even though it does seem like she's made some alliances with Amy right now, you do need a friend at a house. And it seems like, especially after last night's episode, she got called out. It seems like she's holding it together, although it's week 1. And I always say, but she knows the game and she knows what to do and what not to do. And her family's watching. So we're pulling for Rachel. We played a season with her. How could we not? And I always say after day 40, right around day 40, that's when you start seeing people break.
Yeah.
You know, even being on the show as well as hosting the show for many years after. And it was right around day 40 when people start to crack. So we still got some time to go. Hopefully everyone, actually, as a viewer, I hope some people do crack.
I do think in my head, I was like, why? I know she's safe this week, but why would people want to work with someone who has already won? That would be my target as a newbie. If I'm trying to be there and win, and I'm a younger person, I would be like, well, you've already had your chance. I want you out. Not because you don't like him. It's just because you've played. It doesn't matter who you are. I would be like, you've been in here before. You've won. You're out. I feel like that's easy. That's an easy HOH. And you're not making any of the new people mad.
Again, that's another smart move by Big Brother production because that would be everyone's initial instinct. Nobody did anything. We're all here. We're all trying to get along. And just give me a reason to vote somebody out. Hence the shower.
Yeah.
You know, not that it was a big deal. You took a long shower. It's just that nobody did anything yet to say, hey, I'm going to vote you out. And if Rachel came in and she wasn't safe that week 1, that's an easy out. That's an easy out. You already won. This is our time. You had your time and let's go in. So that's why you keep those people safe that come in. And I was trying to remember if Jesse was safe on our first season. He had to be.
You guys, if your clique won, because we were the season of the cliques, if your clique won, everyone in your clique was safe.
So he must have automatically went on our clique. I forgot how that played out.
Y'all were the athletes.
Yeah, I forgot how that played out, but he had to be safe. So that's a smart move by Big Brother production. And then there's going to be other people in the house that are just like kind of starstruck by her, you know, because she's such a big part of Big Brother and people are just want that as well. So they want to have their moment. They want to have their shine. They want to be remembered. So they want to attach themselves to a person like Rachel. But so that
was like our season of Big Brother 11 when Jesse came. I didn't watch Jesse's season until Sequester, but when he walked in the door, I was like, Jesse's got to go. He's already played. That's how I felt. And then when everybody started teaming up with him and we were on the outs, I remember thinking, am I crazy? Like, why does everybody want to team up with this guy who played last season?
Yeah, I thought the same way. And Jesse, I do remember
to have Jesse.
We got to have Jesse on. I love Jesse, and he's you know,
He's so
one of the
good.
faces of Big Brother for sure. If you like Big Brother, you definitely know Jesse. And yeah, I keep in touch with him now, you know, just through Instagram. I would love to have him on and break down some of these. We want to keep this going week to week. We got a lot going on, you know, personal things in our life. So hopefully we keep this going week to week. But that's our plan. And then to get some old house guests in, especially people that played with us and with Rachel on our seasons. And, you know, whoever wants to come on, you know, more than welcome.
Right. Let's take some questions.
All right. But yeah, real quick, I remember right when I got into Big Brother house, speaking of Jesse, I do remember like going to the fridge in the storage room. Like this is right when we introduce ourselves. And he's like, hey man, I think we need to make an alliance. We need to like, and I was like, dude, I don't even know what's going on. I'm like, I just walked in the door. This is crazy. And he's like, dude, what do you mean? We got to do this now. And I was like, hold on a second, dude. I remember like having that conversation.
And then you were on the outs.
Then I was on the outs. Yeah. Like it happens like that fast. And if I wasn't in that clique, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking because I would have got knocked out like week 2.
It's one thing I always say. As soon as you start feeling confident in Big Brother, you get knocked down. Big Brother is a week to week game. Like you can't like sprint. But anyways, let's take
I know that from experience because after I was in 5th, I was like, oh dude, I think I'm taking this thing home.
And then out. Exactly. Okay. Let's pull
Reilly,
up
you want to pop
questions.
up? Oh, here we go. Let's take some. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I understand this is such an awkward time. Not everybody could jump on, but the people that are here with us, thank you so much. And this is going to go up on Spotify later tonight, and you could always rewatch this whenever. So let's take that first question.
Were you surprised by who was the first to go home? I wasn't surprised. I mean, you just never really know. I was hoping, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen,
I'm pretty sure
Zay went home, and I did love his speech because he got ballsy. It wasn't like, okay, love you guys. Thank you for a great season. Had so much fun with you. I mean, he just was like, I'm going for Rachel. If you know, you're safe with me. She's my target. That whole thing. I mean, I like that because he's playing the game.
If you're going to take a shot at the queen, you better not miss.
Yes, but it was watching Rachel's face actually was hilarious. She was
brought back some memories. Brought back some memories.
So much. She looked like she was going to kill.
But you know, I gotta again. This cast I think is really good. I think they're off to a really great start. It's very exciting. I'm deep into it now, and I think it's great. I will point out a couple bad gameplays that I thought. I don't think if I were Vince, which I think Vince is. I like Vince. He's a fan. It seems like everybody's a fan on this season. I feel like he's going a little too fast, too hard.
Always.
I wouldn't have put my friend up on the block, who's Kelly. I wouldn't have done that. That's his number 1 in the house, and they made it final 2, and he sacrificed her that fast. I hope Kelly opens her eyes because I like her, and she really did put herself on that platter.
Yeah.
And then it made her paranoid. So she's already paranoid week 1. So she pulled herself off the block that everybody knows. But if I were Vince, I would have put up Jimmy. Listen, when you're in that house, you don't know what's right or what's wrong or what's up or what's down. Jimmy's playing really fast, really hard, you know, and he feels like he's running the house.
He's good for drama. I just like him in the house for the drama.
He tried to get that Big Brother moment when he threw his sunglasses and all that.
That seemed fake. So
it seemed like he was really rehearsing
that. He rehearsed it.
Yeah, which brings me back to Keanu. Doesn't, you know, let's go, you know what? Let's say real fast before we get too deep, like who our picks are and who our underdogs are to win.
Okay, who we think is going to win.
Like pick a boy and a girl.
Okay, I think
and then we'll take the next question. Or maybe let's hold on to that. Let's you know what? Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break. I'm all over the place. Let's take a quick break. Don't worry, we're only going to be gone for 5 seconds. Let's take one. Oh man, you caught me. I didn't just take a break to get a beer. We're supposed to take little breaks in between so we could put this on Spotify. But anyways, let's take some questions, and I'm sure people will be like, who's your dark horse? Who do you want to win? And things like that. So what's the next question? Oh, there we go.
Who do you think is going to end up in a showmance? Okay, so I thought Zach and Lauren, but Lauren seems like she's not interested at all. I don't think she's interested in a showmance period, and she is just out there to play the game.
I think she'll come around.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Zach was laying it on pretty thick. He was
trying.
He's like, she's like, do you like oranges? He's like, do I like oranges?
Oh yeah, totally.
He was like totally laying it out. You know, I was like, oh wow, this guy's in love. It's
and then Reilly, I think, was liking Catherine, and she's a beautiful girl. Beautiful woman. Reilly the cowboy.
Oh yeah. That one I don't know.
I don't know, because I just feel like they're so opposite. But who knows? We're opposites.
You know what? That house does something to you, and then when you're in there, relationships blossom. You know, so it's very early on to say if anything's going to happen. I do think Lauren's going to come around. I really do, because you need to lean on somebody in there. You need some sort of support system. It's just human nature, you know, and that's what's so genius about Big Brother. It's like a microcosm of everything happening in the world, in a sense, you know, or at least in high school.
Lauren, one thing that stood out with me, remember when she said, I think, who was it? The person, she had a guess, and she said, I think it's a woman that is the person, the mystery person. Remember she said that? She goes, I don't think it's a boy. Whenever they thought it was, who did they think it was? Was Zay. Didn't they say it was Zay? And it wasn't. And
no. They picked the cowboy. They picked Reilly.
That's right.
And then Zay was in second.
That's right. Okay, yeah. And she's the one that was like, I think it's a girl, and it was Amy.
Oh, so you think she's a gamer?
I thought that stuck out to me because I don't know. I feel like she's smart.
All right, I'm not sure I know what you're saying, but okay, that's a good point.
All right. Next question.
I don't know what you mean.
Were you able to guess correctly who the accomplice was? No,
I had no idea. I actually guessed the cowboy. That's who I thought it was. I did too. Just like the house guest, I go, for some reason, that cowboy.
I said it was going to be a fan, and it was. Amy was a fan.
I was like, she would have been kind of my last choice.
I was like, they're going to get somebody that's super excited because they know they're going to do it. They're not going to get somebody that's calm. They're going to get somebody that's like extra. Okay, next.
Let's just rip these.
What do you think about the new setup? For example, the hotel mystery theme, the evil dude, new games, etc. Peggy. I think it's typical Big Brother. I think it's great. I think they do a wonderful job at transforming that house, and each year they do a great job with the themes and then the games and all of that. So I think
to come up with 27 different twists and themes and things like that. But I do like, I'm a big like murder mystery guy, so I do like the little twists and the way the house looks. So I do like
I wish we did have bunk beds like they do. I like that room. It seems like cozy in there. I would have liked my own little individual bunk bed.
Is this the most house guests they've ever had? 17. That seems like a lot.
I want to say yes. So Big Brother, I'm assuming, is longer this year, or they're going to do extra evictions.
They're going to have a couple double episodes.
There's got to be for sure.
And they, you know, if they're all fans, they have to expect that in their head. Like, let me break down the weeks. There's this many people. Oh, there's going to be a lot of double evictions. My chance to strike.
Those double evictions are stressful.
Still getting over mine. No, I'm just kidding.
Do the producers point out things like the long shower to promote? What does that say?
Dissension in the home, in the house.
No,
Carol. No, they don't point out. But I am. You know what? I did wonder how long Ashley was late to that veto ceremony. Wasn't it the veto ceremony? Because she took that long shower. Again, you got to watch what you do that first week, because anything will get you voted out. She took herself off the block. Props to her. She's strong. But to be late to that veto meeting because you were showering, I wonder how that went down. Was she like 1 second late, 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late? That's what we don't know. And then they edited it to say like she's late again. Regardless, she was late and she was taking a shower, which isn't a good look.
It's not a good look at all.
All right. Y'all need to get your own your producer Reilly on Big Brother.
Yes,
Reilly. Get on Big Brother.
Reilly would do good.
Reilly would do so good on Big Brother.
I think Reilly would actually win.
Yeah, because she's so sweet. She blends in with everybody.
She's
smart. She doesn't stir the pot. Reilly, I know you're listening. You would I would bet on you. You'd be on this list, and I'd say Reilly's going to win this thing for sure. For sure.
Do you think Rachel will be able to keep her cool better than she did on 12 and 13? I think so. I think, again, the maturity, a mom. I think, I mean, listen, like Jeff said, day 40, that's kind of when you lose it a little bit. You get very emotional. You have breakdowns, people fighting in the house. You know, you're getting closer towards the end, tensions. Who knows? But as of right now, I'm going to say yes, because I think she knows.
I think she knows too. The one thing that I can't predict with Rachel is how she's going to feel about missing her family and children and things like that. We've never been in the house with children, and you know, I know some people have. I've never experienced that myself, so I can't speak on that, but it's got to be tough. You know, everyone asks me all the time, would you ever go play Big Brother again? My answer is no, because I'm like, I don't know if I could be away from my kids for 3 months. I understand it's maybe financially motivated, whatever it is. It's not that I want to go back and win and conquer the game. It's like, I would go back for financial reasons, but I don't know if that money's worth me spending 3 months away from my family, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
but so that's going to, I think that's going to play a part. We'll see how it works out. Rachel's strong. I think she's going to be fine. She loves the game. She loves her family. Brendan's home with them. And I would love to have Brendan on, by the way. We got to call him and see how Hermano's doing. Yeah. He's my Hermano. And just rehash some old times.
Who would you team up with to make it to the final 2 with the current cast?
Oh, good question.
This is a good one.
Who would I team up with? Man, you know what?
Pick a girl and pick a guy.
All right, I'm getting older, so I'm kind of. I think Will would be my buddy, you know. But you know what? Will would be. I think I'd be down with Will. I'd definitely be down with Will. I'm gonna stay right now that Keanu was the first one that grabbed my eye, and I just liked him. And then that whole thing he went through with Rachel, that emotional thing, really touched me a little bit. So I'm down with Keanu for sure. That's kind of my pick to win. He's my favorite. I'll give you my pick to win for the men. I want Keanu to win, and I hope he wins. But Will would be, I'd be ride or dies with Will for sure. With girls, I don't know enough about everybody right now, but I'm going to stick with my first instinct. And I think I'd be down with Morgan. I don't know if she'd be down with me, but I'd be down with Morgan because she was the one that jumped out to me. Just feels like she knows the game a little bit. Things could change. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. And yeah, and you know what? I guess I'll just start answering other questions. If I got to pick a dark horse, if I got to pick somebody who nobody's thinking about right now to win this game, I'm going with Mickey. She's gotten 0 airtime, which is fantastic on Big Brother. It's not a knock to her.
Yeah.
It's great gameplay. You don't want to be in all those scenes. You don't want to be in all the drama. She's laying low. She seems very smart to me. So my dark horse to win this, without my first instinct, from what I saw so far, I'm going to go with Mickey.
Okay.
I took that question way deep.
Guys, I think Adrian. I think he's sweet. And a woman.
That's who you would partner up with?
Yeah, Adrian.
Oh my God.
Think he's sweet. Or Keanu.
If you partner up with Adrian, the live feeds would be going crazy because you guys wouldn't shut up all night.
I don't know. He just seems like a sweet guy. Zach seems like a sweet guy too.
I like
there's everybody.
There's no one I don't like. I'd team up with Zach, but I'm just older now. You know what I mean? And I feel like Zach would be like, get this old guy out of here. So I could get with Lauren.
Will was a good one too. I feel like he will go far. I think for women, I don't know, like judging on here, I would probably take, as of right now, Kelly or Lauren to one of them, because Lauren, you don't know anything about. Yeah. She's quiet. She hasn't got any airtime either, which I think is great. And then Kelly seems like she's just sweet. I love that she backpacks, and I don't know. She just seems like a free spirit. But this is only week 1. Yeah, it always changes.
And let's talk about some people we haven't talked about. Ava, I thought she was cute, but this last episode when she immediately ran and told on Keanu,
I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either. So it kind of showed, maybe that's her game plan. I don't know. I didn't like that she did that, but she seems like a sweet girl. Catherine, I don't think we know. I think the most mysterious house guest right now is Catherine.
Because
we don't know a lot about her. We don't know where she's going to go. We don't watch the live feeds, obviously. So you guys probably know more than us. Just in my opinion, Catherine could be a strong player. I just don't know which way she's going to go or how she's going to fit into some of these alliances for
to me, she seems like she would stick up for herself.
Yeah. That's what I mean. She seems
we
tough.
don't watch the live feeds, but from what I saw, she just seems like she would not back down. And I mean, I like everybody on here.
So it's week 1.
Yeah, it's only week 1. There's not a lot of stuff that's happened, so it's hard. I did, like Jeff said, I didn't like how I felt like Keanu was trying to make a connection with Ava because he's like, oh, I think we're going to work together. And he told her some information and then her running and telling. I was like, no. Yeah. I was like, I'm supposed to like you. You're not supposed to do that.
It's only because we're Keanu fans here. That's all. That's the only reason why.
Yeah,
but
and then
that's her game. That's her prerogative.
The moment that Keanu had with Rachel and they were in the room together and he was crying about his dad. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love you.
Yeah, it touched my heart. Let's take some more
questions.
Yeah.
Just a couple more questions. And then
we're going to take, you know what? Let's do this. We'll take one more. Let's do that question real fast. Is there really only 2 bathrooms including HOH?
Yeah.
Gemma. There, it's true. There's only one when you first get in there. And I remember saying, pardon. I said sorry and pardon me together. Pardon me. When you're first in there and you're all excited and you're eating food and you're waiting to get in there, I remember I was like, who's the first one
to go to the bathroom?
Who's gonna go to the bathroom?
Yeah, because if you take a shit and then
and it smells, they'll vote you out.
Somebody walks in there. It's so weird.
Oh my God, Jordan's got the worst shits. Get out of here.
And then when you look up, you see the camera up there and you're like, oh my God.
That's another crazy thing.
And it makes you feel so weird because you're like, somebody in there has to, I know they say it's off, but it's got to be on.
Yeah, that's another crazy thing. There's like microphones. Well, there's a camera and they say they only turn it on. And I've been behind the scenes and things. They really don't have that bathroom camera on. I could vouch for them on that. But their microphone is on in there.
So they can hear you.
Oh, producers hear you take a shit all the time.
So
you got to get over that if you're a Big Brother.
Yeah, or like farting.
Somehow it always ends up there.
Sometimes you forget that the cameras are watching you. Yeah. So you're just like walking and farting or you'll do whatever. And then you're like, oh my God, I just farted and everybody on television heard me, but you just forget. I farted.
All right, I'm glad you broke that down. Let's take a break real fast and we'll come back and wrap this up. And we're back.
Welcome back.
Do you want to keep talking about taking shits or you want to break down the cast?
No, let's take a couple questions.
Yeah, let's take some more questions. Let's wrap.
I have nothing else to say about these people.
Wow, I thought you were into it.
I'm very into it, but I got nothing else to say. I shared all my information. It's only week 1 and I don't watch the live feeds.
All right, let's take some more.
What do y'all think about having a season of 50 and over cast? I think that would be cool. Big Brother? You think it'd be boring?
Yeah.
You probably have to give it alcohol or something, more alcohol and loosen people up.
Or play bingo like I did last night. I think Big Brother's a younger cast. You know what I mean? People want to see, regardless of what people say, they want to see those guys with their shirts off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People hooking up. When you're 50, you're kind of like,
I don't want to watch people make out.
No, people like a showmance. Not saying hook up, but people like a showmance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If I watch shows and people are kissing, I get like, ugh.
When you hear
yes, that's what I'm talking about. And then
I'm
like, stop it.
We did that. Our kids are going to watch that.
And then going back, then Ronnie ruined the moment.
He farted. Full circle. Full circle.
And then I got up and he was talking to us about all this stuff. Would y'all still have had a showmance if you had a bunk beds? Maybe.
You know what? It's a little easier to hide things. Not saying we didn't do anything, but if you just dump a sheet over that bunk bed, it's really easy to get busy in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would
What do you mean?
never.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm saying?
But do you? How do people?
I
have
wonder
the
if Big
guts
Brother's
to
going to
have
allow
sex?
that. I wonder if they're going to allow sheets over the bottom bunk because it's real easy to just put it under the mattress, college style.
I could never.
I think they wouldn't allow that.
No, never. Yeah.
Lisa knows what I'm saying over there.
I just don't get how people are that brave to just, I mean, there's live feed. There's like people can see that.
What do you mean? Go on fans only or whatever and watch it.
Oh, so weird. Okay. When they had to guess who was the conspirator, wait, sorry, my eyes are blurry.
Why didn't they all just pick the person on the right? Someone was guaranteed to pick Amy.
Wait, what?
Ken and Avery.
When they had to guess.
Why didn't they all just pick the person to the right?
Oh, wait, I don't get it.
Me neither. Are we idiots?
What am I missing?
Do you understand
what
that?
they're talking about?
If they all just Oh, I get it. That's a good strategy. Kim and Avery, you just blew our minds. That's why
I didn't think about it.
Well, she won. I lost. But that's a good. So everyone gets one guess, and then you would have got the person.
Yeah, they should have.
Huh. That's really good strategy.
That was a good strategy. Jeff and I were too dumb to know what you were talking about. We needed our
Kim and Avery
Lisa
would have been in the
here.
house. I would have been like, Kim and Avery don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I know. You know what?
That was a good strategy. That was really good.
I need glasses. Do you think it's wise when people join a lot of alliances? I think it's a terrible idea.
Dude, I can't stand these alliances.
I cannot stand the names.
They make me sick.
They make me sick. Alliances, and they never stick. And I think it's normally people make the alliances so early and so much changes in Big Brother and people go home that's why new alliances are formed. But I think it's best to lock it in, like get a solid 3, at least a solid 3, and lock it in and take it to the end.
You need some sort of like human connection. You can't just be like, hey, I'm playing super hard and I'm going to go get 4 other people and play super hard and they're in my alliance and they're going to trust me. Even like Rachel, she's like, I'm not in your alliance. I would have said the same thing to them. Oh yeah, I'm definitely in.
Let people think and believe that y'all are in an alliance.
We're all in.
Yeah, let people believe it, because you don't want to tell anybody no, because then they're going to be like, wait, why doesn't she want to work with me? Okay, if you don't want to work with me, you're going on the block. So I hate
the names, and I know they're laying in their hotel room before the show gets on. They're like, oh man, I got the best alliance name, dude. And you're a nerd.
I think it, like ours, it just naturally happened.
Yeah, we're never in an alliance. No one asked us to be in an alliance.
Well, it was just like, I just said I would be your friend.
Yeah.
And then you were like,
but
okay.
That was natural.
And then you were like,
and I'm like, I got your back.
I got your back. And I go, I got your back. But I don't think we even knew what alliances were when you were in the house. We were like, what is going on? What do you think about a season of all first evicted house guests? I think that's a great idea.
I thought about that. I think everyone thinks about that, because I feel bad. I feel really bad for the people that go home first. You're all jacked up. Your family and friends are all watching, and you're the first one knocked out.
And then you don't remember. Like, people are like, wait, who are you? Because you were the first one off. So if they did and all people who were evicted first, it'd be like a whole new cast, because you'd be like, wait, I don't even remember that guy.
Yeah, you wouldn't remember. But yeah, like in a couple of weeks, we're not even going to remember poor Zay. But I'll give a shout out to Zay, even though he's out. You know what, Zay? If someone that you know is watching this, we'd love to have you on the podcast. We'll give you a little interview and give you some more camera time, at least on Togethermess. But I got to say, I love the frosted tips, my man. Brings me back to the 90s boy band style. I like it. Respect.
Did you color your hair?
Oh, yeah. I had frosted tips. I wanted to be Sugar Ray.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Don't fuck around. You know what's good. All right. Let's do another question.
What would it take to bring you back to reality television?
Cash.
I would do Traders, but there's no other ones I really would do, because Traders just seems easy.
Listen, at this point, it's all financial, to be 1000% transparent. In the past, it was about the experience, and especially my first time on Big Brother, I knew I was getting voted out that last time I walked out. You know, I knew I was getting voted out, and it was all about the experience, because I was all about experiences that at that point in my life. And, you know, everything was, you know, I really appreciate those times when you don't have a lot going on in your life, responsibilities and things like that, and you kind of just roll with the punches in life. I have, you know, so many responsibilities, things going on, things happen, and life catches up with you, you know, and they kind of hold you down. I should be more open to doing other things, but right now, I would sell out for the cash. That's an honest truth.
Yep. Get the college money.
Yeah.
College fund going. All right. Let's do what? Like one more question?
Let's take a couple more. What are we on now? Should we wrap this thing up?
I feel like we've been on a while.
How about this? When do you get to take the mic off? Only during showers and bathrooms? Heather.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. If you go to the bathroom, you could take your mic off. And then if you go in the shower, obviously take your mic off. But if you take it off, like while you're in, when you're going to bed, of course. But if you go to bed and you start whispering, they'll tell you to put your mic back on. So they're really aware of everything going on, and you got to wear your mic at all times.
Yeah. If you don't, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Or they'll keep saying, Jordan, put your mic on.
Yeah.
Or you're obstructing your mic.
Yeah, because you take pillows like this
and you
just
lay
hold
on the
it
pillow
like that, and then you got to move your pillow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was another thing that we've talked about in the past. But when, you know, after you get off the show, this is how, like, you know, what a mind fuck this whole game is. When you get home and you're laying down like this, and this is after you're on the show, you're like, oh man. And you're like, oh man, I'm not even on the show anymore. It's so weird.
Or you're
so
paranoid.
trained.
You're like, why are those people talking about me? Or my mom and brother, I've shared this a bunch of times. My mom and brother, this was right off of Big Brother, were just talking. And I was like, what are they talking about? Are they talking about me? And it's my mom and my brother. And I thought they were like scheming
that
against
paranoia
me.
takes a minute to go away.
And then mic pack, I would wake up in the morning, and I was so used to having my mic pack in my pocket. I remember being like, oh, I forgot my mic. And I'm like, what am I doing? Just like your cell phone. Like, oh, I left my cell phone. You're just so used to having it on you.
Yeah, I said a million times, and we'll end on this. Like, when Big Brother's said and done, someone needs to do a documentary and do the ins and outs and the psychology behind it, and interview some, you know, famous faces that were on the show, and just do it in and out for everybody. Show behind the scenes, like pull back the curtain and see everything, and show how the show is run, because it's such a huge production and so many people are involved 24/7. The way they put up those, you know, all the games in the backyard, take them down, transform that house, you know, cut those things 3 times a week. You know, being in that business now, I have a huge appreciation for what they do over there, how they do it, how fast they do it, how tight they do it, and put out such a great show.
They do
kind of like
job.
our Togethermess team. Look at his production value.
They do it really well. And because Jeff and I were like, whatever, we're just going to make a couple drinks and just sit in our basement and talk about a recap. And then Ye came through and helped us. And it's a Friday night, and they got things to do, and family and friends. So we're going to get off of here so they can do their things.
Yep.
So thank you guys for being on here. And thank you everybody who tuned in. I know this was like such a last minute thing. Hopefully we can continue to do this.
Yeah. And we're going to get we talked to some people already. So hopefully next week, if we can do this, which we're planning on doing it, we're going to do it at the same time. I understand people can't make it all the time at 4 o'clock.
But you can watch it on Spotify.
Yeah, you could rewatch this anytime. But we're going to get some of our old friends on there, at least some people that talk to us. I think we'll be able to make it through the season.
Yeah.
Maybe halfway.
Well, I want to try to get our season 13 people on, just because they
and just get their opinions and stuff, because you know what, this is just like gambling. You don't know who's going to win. One of these people are going to walk away with $750,000.
I know.
Nobody knows who. But thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you liked it. We're going to keep doing this if you guys like it, and enjoy the season, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great weekend. Bye.